Hi, I'm Sean. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm looking at the Saturn retrograde in Pisces, which is happening in September. Saturn is about to go into the sign of Aries soon for the next 30 years. This is going to be a dramatic new cycle for all of us. Really a whole new landscape. And we're gonna need courage and strength. Saturn going back into Pisces one more time gives us all one last chance to complete our soul journey of the last 30 years. Completions are important, otherwise the new cycle can start on an uneven footing. As you probably know, Saturn is the cosmic taskmaster, the planet of discipline, structure, responsibility, and karmic lessons. Think of Saturn as a strict, old-fashioned teacher, or that tough gym instructor. It governs time, boundaries, and getting things done. When Saturn is active in a chart or transit, it often brings challenges that require patience, perseverance, and integrity. But Saturn isn't just about hardship, it's about mastery. It asks, what have you learned? What are you building that will last? We know how a tough gym workout feels, tough but ultimately satisfying. It's that type of energy. In mythology, Saturn, Kronos, devoured his children, a metaphor for how unchecked fear and control can stifle growth. Yet Saturn also represents the wisdom of age, the rewards of long-term effort, and the dignity of self-respect. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, the oceanic realm of dreams, intuition, spirituality, and dissolution. It's where boundaries blur and the ego dissolves into the collective. Pisces rules the unconscious, the mystical, the poetic, and the compassionate. It's deeply connected to soul work, emotional healing, and transcendence. When Saturn moves through Pisces, it brings structure to the intangible. It asks us to take responsibility for our spiritual lives, to ground our dreams in reality, and to confront illusions with sober clarity. A retrograde is when a planet appears to move backward in the sky from our perspective on Earth. Symbolically, retrogrades are times of review, reflection, and revision. Saturn retrograde is a period where karmic themes resurface. Old lessons, unresolved responsibilities, and past decisions come up for re-evaluation. It's not a time for rushing forward, but for integrating what's been learned. Think of it as a cosmic audit. What structures in your life are sustainable, and which need to be dismantled? On September 1st, Saturn retrogrades into Pisces for the last time in nearly 30 years. This is a profound moment, a closing of a karmic cycle that began in the mid-1990s. For many, this marks the end of a soul chapter. Themes around emotional boundaries, spiritual maturity, addiction, escapism, and compassion are coming full circle. For me, this retrograde is about two things. Karmic endings, which is all about letting go of patterns that have kept you stuck. The other main theme is what I like to call soul integration. This is about owning your spiritual growth and emotional wisdom. Projects, relationships, or identities that began years ago may now be ready to dissolve or transform. It's a time to ask, what have I learned about surrender, faith, and emotional resilience? As Saturn prepares to enter Aries in 2026, we stand on the edge of a new 29-year cycle. Aries is the sign of initiation, courage, and identity. Saturn in Aries will demand bold responsibility, taking charge of your life, asserting your truth, and building new foundations from a place of authenticity. This transition is like moving from the dream world, Pisces, into the battlefield, Aries. It's a call to action, but only after the soul has been cleansed and the past released. Let's look at each sign briefly. Hi Aries, Saturn retrograde activates your 12th house, the realm of the unconscious, endings, and spiritual integration. This is a deeply karmic transit for Aries risings, inviting you to confront hidden fears, ancestral patterns, and emotional baggage. You may feel called to retreat, reflect, or engage in healing work. Old habits of escapism or martyrdom are up for review. As Saturn prepares to enter Aries, your identity is about to be reborn. But first, the soul must be cleansed. Hi Taurus. This retrograde moves through your 11th house of community, dreams, and long-term visions. You're reassessing your place in the collective. Friendships, networks, and social causes may be shifting. Saturn asks, are your alliances aligned with your soul's truth? Karmic ties to groups or mentors may dissolve. As Saturn heads into Aries, your spiritual life will become more private and introspective. But for now, the focus is on releasing outdated social contracts. Hi Gemini, Saturn retrograde activates your 10th house of career, reputation, and public legacy. You're reviewing your professional path and the structures you've built. Are they meaningful, sustainable, This is a time to confront authority issues, redefine success, and let go of roles that no longer serve. Karmic lessons around ambition and visibility are wrapping up. Saturn in Aries will soon ignite your social sector. But first, you must clarify your purpose. Hi Cancer, this transit moves through your 9th house, the domain of belief systems, higher education, and long-distance journeys. You're being asked to reflect on your worldview. What truths have guided you, and which ones are ready to be released? Old dogmas, spiritual teachings, or academic pursuits may come to a close. Saturn in Aries will soon challenge your career path, but now is the time to complete your philosophical and spiritual education. Hi Leo, Saturn retrograde activates your 8th house, the realm of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation. This is a potent time for karmic endings around power dynamics, financial entanglements, and emotional vulnerability. You may be called to release toxic attachments or confront fears around loss and control. Saturn in Aries will soon energize your belief systems, but first, you must complete a cycle of deep emotional alchemy. Hi Virgo, this retrograde moves through your 7th house of relationships and contracts. You're reviewing the karmic lessons learned through partnerships, romantic, professional, and platonic. Saturn asks, what have you learned about boundaries, commitment, and compromise? Some relationships may end, others may evolve. As Saturn enters Aries, your focus will shift to intimacy and shared power. But now, the mirror of the other is your teacher. Hi Libra, Saturn retrograde activates your 6th house, the domain of health, routines, and service. You're being asked to reassess your daily life. Are your habits supporting your well-being? Are you overgiving or underboundaried in work or caregiving roles? Karmic patterns around self-sacrifice and burnout are ending. Saturn in Aries will soon challenge your relationships, but first, you must reclaim your time and energy. Hi Scorpio, this transit moves through your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. You're reviewing how you show up in the world as a creator and lover. Old wounds around visibility, joy, or romantic entanglements may resurface. Saturn asks, are you honoring your inner child and creative fire? As Saturn enters Aries, your focus will shift to discipline in health and work. But now, you're wrapping up a cycle of artistic and emotional growth. Hi Sagittarius, Saturn retrograde activates your 4th house, the foundation of home, family, and emotional roots. This is a deeply personal transit, calling you to reflect on ancestral karma, childhood conditioning, and your inner sanctuary. You may feel the need to release old family dynamics or relocate. Saturn in Aries will soon energize your creative life, but first, you must complete the emotional groundwork. Hi Cap, this retrograde moves through your 3rd house of communication, learning, and local environment. You're reviewing how you speak, think, and connect. Old narratives, sibling dynamics, or educational paths may be ending. Saturn asks, are your words aligned with your wisdom? As Saturn enters Aries, your emotional foundations will be tested. But now, the mind is the arena of karmic closure. Hi Aquarius, Saturn retrograde activates your 2nd house, the realm of money, values, and self-worth. You're being asked to reassess your relationship with material security and personal value. Karmic lessons around scarcity, overwork, or undervaluing yourself are coming to a close. Saturn in Aries will soon challenge your voice and ideas. But now, you must reclaim your worth. Hi Pisces, this transit moves through your 1st house, your identity, body, and personal expression. You're completing a major karmic cycle of self-definition. Saturn has been reshaping your sense of self since early 2023, and this retrograde is the final review. You may feel called to release old personas, heal body image wounds, or redefine your boundaries. Saturn in Aries will soon activate your financial sector, but now, the soul is shedding its skin.